All right, 2017, we're back with the Open, so we're going to jump right into the warm-up and strategy videos. Great little workout, couplet of dumbbell snatches and burpee box jump overs. It is a workout that is done for time unless you get to the 20-minute time cap. RX weights are 50 and 35, males and females respective, and the box height is 24 and 20. If you know that you're not doing the RX category, please check the score sheets and the games website to make sure that you are following the standards for your division correctly. So jumping right into the warm-up, you'll notice if you watched our videos from last year, it is very, very similar. Not a whole lot changes in here. We've got 3 different components to consider for your warm-up. The very first one that you need to get into is just a general warm-up. So what we're looking for here is something like a row, a bike, a run, hop on the skier, anything like that for about 15 minutes. And what we're trying to do is just bring the core temperature up, get blood to all the peripheral spaces of the body. If you have a good light sweat going, that's a good indicator of a general warm-up, or it's an indicator that you live way down south where it is super humid and there's no AC. So just make sure that you do get a good general warm-up going. We just want all the muscles kind of turned on and ready. Next is the dynamic type warm-up. So if you're part of our gym, this is the stuff that we take you through all the time. For my gym members, we have a great manual, the Open Gym Manual, that has all this stuff kind of lined out for you guys, whether it's an upper, a lower, a total body type warm-up. The goal of this is just to take your body through, the joints of your body through full range of motion. So shoulders, hips, knees, ankles, just make sure trunk as well, full range of motion, some bending, some twisting. That's what you're going for on the dynamic piece. The specific warm-up, you can think of as your sport-specific warm-up, is the actual movements that you're going to be doing. So in this case, we're snatching and we're doing something plyometric with the box jump and the burpee. So guess what your specific warm-up is going to entail is something to do with maybe some dumbbell snatches and some plyometric activities. So for this, what I'm thinking about is starting, maybe with some light hopping to ready yourself for the box jump, the higher box jump to come later, and then working into the box jump as well. Same thing, going through just a couple of burpees, and then turning it into the full movement of the burpee box jump. Some other considerations for your warm-up piece is just firing up some of the little muscles that are going to play big dividends for you later on in this workout. So glute activation, kneeling stuff, anything where you're really firing the glutes is good. Using some mini bands, monster walks, things like that. Shoulder stability work, so think about waiter's walks, so you can do it with a kettlebell or a dumbbell. What we're going for here with this stuff is really when you catch that dumbbell overhead on the dumbbell snatch, you don't want the shoulder to be all loose and fatigued and wobbling all over the place. So if you get the stabilizers and the shoulder fired up, it's going to make it a lot more comfortable for you when you get overhead. And then last consideration, this is a big one, especially if you have trouble with this, is getting the low back and the hamstrings warmed up. So if you've got a reverse hyper, if you can get on the GHD and do some back extensions, make sure you're doing leg swings. You might even consider a light deadlift or a kettlebell swing, just going to to eye level, so a more Russian style kettlebell swing. But really making sure that you get this stuff warmed up and ready for the work ahead. Okay, so in terms of food and nutrition considerations, if you are a do this thing first thing in the morning type person, you definitely want to consider doing it in a fasted state. So I don't mean no water, no if you normally do like a BCAA, so aminos in the morning before your workout, you can still do that, but in terms of big meal, you don't want to feel heavy in this workout. So you're jumping down to the ground in the burpee and then up and over a box. You don't want to add any weight and feel like you're sloshing around. So that is a consideration. In terms of food choices, if you listen to our podcast about maximizing your game day this past week, the running mantra in that podcast was do nothing different. So don't start eating a new food. Don't think that you need to carb up for this one. Don't do anything that is different from your normal routine. Unless your normal routine is going out, getting hammered at the Thai restaurant, and then trying to come in and do this workout. Then do something different. All right, equipment setup. This is super important, and this is even more so if you are a regional or games level athlete. is you want to make sure that you record every workout, number one, that you do it per the standards, so make sure you check the video on what you have to do beforehand. But this is how you want to set it up. So this would be the tape marks, this would be the box in the middle, your dumbbell to one side of the box, and then you want to have the camera so that you can catch all of that stuff. Don't have the dumbbell over on the opposite side of the box. They're not going to be able to tell that you're going all the way to the ground every single time. So leave no doubt, all right? Give, whoever is viewing these videos the littlest doubt in their mind that you did things the correct way and that there was clarity in all the repetitions that you did, all right? In terms of tips for the dumbbell snatch, remember, you're offhand, so the hand that is not snatching. So if I'm snatching with this hand, the other hand cannot touch your body as the dumbbell is on the way up, all right? When it is on the way down, they did indicate that you could switch mid-hand. We'll talk about that in a second. Muscle snatch, so you saw the guys and the girls just going straight up with that thing. It looked like an upright row with a quick press out. That's a muscle snatch. Or should you be doing a power snatch where you kind of hop back under the dumbbell, catch it with the knees bent, and then stand all the way back up? That depends on you, on your ability level. If you are an athlete where you have to think twice when you walk to the dumbbell of, can I lift this right now or do I need to rest more? Do not muscle snatch. You definitely need to be power snatching for the entire workout. One good piece of feedback that I did get from one of our athletes is that when you come off of a round of burpee box jump overs, it is very, very quad dominant. So it does make it harder to power snatch, believe it or not, versus a muscle snatch. So if you feel like your quads are blown up, but you want to get right to the dumbbell, maybe do a couple reps of a muscle snatch, and then once you feel like the legs have kind of normalized a little bit, then go back to that power snatch technique. All right, so the switching in midair, meaning I've gotten a good rep. Do I want to switch here and then go down, touch and go into the next one? Or do I want to switch here? No, I wouldn't. Here's the reason why. First and foremost, the best athletes in the world that we saw last night go, they didn't use that technique. So if they deemed it unnecessary to do that, then I wouldn't recommend it for you. One caveat, if this is something that you regularly practice and you are super comfortable with this skill, because it is a skill to do so, then if it works for you, do it. If it's not something that you're comfortable with or that you've practiced, I promise you, you're going to waste more time and more importantly, more energy trying to learn this new technique instead of just going with what we know does work, all right? That being said, don't just drop the dumbbell because then you're going to spend half of this workout chasing it around, especially if it's one of the rubberized hex dumbbells. Do make sure that during your warm-up that you practice your hand transitions. So as soon as you go down, dumbbell touches, make sure that you're comfortable where that dumbbell is landing every time and that you're ready to pick it up and go right into the next rep, all right? One other note about this is that make sure the dumbbell is not set out too far in front of you, all right? You want to think about it being right in the middle of your feet. So think if the dumbbell is right in line with your ankle bones. That's a good way to think of it. Is to set it up. That way it keeps the dumbbell nice and close for you too. Keep your head above your shoulders. This is really done to minimize the displacement that your heart is moving. So if you're constantly going way down to grab that dumbbell, your heart has to move a lot every single time, right? And that's going to make it harder for it to effectively pump blood and oxygen everywhere in your body. So if we can minimize the movement that your heart has to do as much as we can, I know that's ironic for this workout because we've got the dumbbell snatch and the burpee, but if we can minimize it where we can, it'll pay big dividends on the back end of the workout. And it's also to stave off low back fatigue. So a lot of times when we see the heart go down below the level of your hips, you're just going to blow your low back up. So save that, make sure that you're using your legs here and not just your back. Tips for the burpee box jump overs. The biggest one here is don't control the eccentric part of the burpee. And what I mean is don't go down and do a slow push-up and then push back up. You want to almost think of it as a controlled fall. So all the way to the bottom, hit the deck, make sure that you are lined up, practice your hand and foot placement on the tape. So it's got to be right hand, right foot on the right side of the tape, tape down the middle of the body, left hand, left foot on the left side of the tape. So make sure that you're practicing that. We did see the guys get no rep a couple times last night with that. In terms of how to get down, descend from the box, it's up to you. If you're comfortable with a step down and that doesn't blow your legs up, then go with that. If you're comfortable with a hop down from the box, it is a little bit quicker and I don't think it's really fatiguing, then go with what works for you there. I did see this from a handful of individuals, just kind of running through this. Do I want to like do a spin as I'm hopping down from the box? I don't know if you're comfortable with that. Maybe a half turn on the way down, especially if you're stepping down. I think you can get away with it more. Definitely don't try to do a spin on the way up. It's just going to end disastrously. If you do, though, record it so you can show us the aftermath of that. And then the burpee technique, all right? If you are a games level athlete, you do what works for you. You're probably going to hop down and hop right back up. I think for most other people, everyone has learned to kind of do the step down and step up burpee. We've all realized that you're not wasting any more than a fraction of a second of time, but what you make up for it is heart rate stays much lower. So that's a great piece to remember. Practice that. So you'll notice that there's a lot in here that I said about practicing. So hand and foot placement with the tape, hand transitions on the dumbbell snatches, stepping back and up for the burpees. How do I get down from the box? The more comfortable that you can become with these little pieces, they add up to big seconds on the back end of the workout. All right, general tips and strategy to maximize this workout. Chalk up beforehand. Get your water and hydration beforehand. If you're wasting time chalking and getting water during this workout, it's because you didn't prep ahead of time. All right, so make sure that you take care of those things. You need to know your ability level, not the ability level of those around you or those that you're shooting for. You need to know your ability level because that's going to allow you to, attack this workout to best fit who you are. Are you a regional level athlete? All right, are you an athlete that is just doing it with your gym to have some fun and time doesn't really matter? Do you need to do this workout as scaled? One of my athletes also sent me a note. If you are somebody who needs to think twice before you pick up the dumbbell, or that you need to take a few seconds to gather yourself before you jump onto the box, you need to plan on working for 20 minutes. Not that you are finishing this workout, sub 13 or something. So plan to work for 20 minutes, but you need to know your ability level. Get good sleep. This is the night to go to bed early, to try to get a good solid, 8 to 10 hours. If you can squeeze even more for you younger athletes, try to squeeze a little bit more sleep into tonight. Breathe during the workout. I know this sounds silly, but if you can have somebody yelling at you to remember to breathe, it will help you tremendously. Pace. Okay, last night, the guys' workout, their first round was done in 1:20. I saw a ton of people today who were done around that same time frame. And guess what? None of those athletes finished. If you are finishing before or right around where the games level athletes finished last night, and you know that you are not a games level athlete, you're in for a butt kicking for 20 long, terrible minutes. So you need to make sure that you pace it from the get-go. All right? If you want to finish this workout, if your goal is to finish it right at that 20-minute mark, here's what you need to do. You need to average 4 seconds per snatch. You need to average 8 seconds per burpee box jump over. That's it, all right? So this is the workout, warm-up and strategy. If you've got questions, comments, concerns, reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to answer them for you. And good luck.